everyone. My name is Parul Mudit Mishra. I am a pregnancy wellness coach and owner of Shaping Motherhood. I basically take care of women during preconception, during their pregnancy, and post-pregnancy as well. And I'm also due to get my childbirth education certificate and also a doula certificate, which will be the first in India, because in India we do not have doulas as of now. So I'll be the first one to get certified. Without waiting further, I would like you guys to introduce you to Dr. Kajal Agarwal. She is into homeopathy, and today we are going to talk about infertility and homeopathy, how exactly it can help you conceive and how the whole spectrum of it works. She'll go ahead and explain it to you. Usually we Indians have a propensity to go towards allopathic. Why? Because sometimes it's quicker resolution, but the whole system of Ayush that we have developed indigenously, we somehow tend to look over it because it does take a little time to get there with homeopathy and Ayurveda. But what I would like to suggest to you is that if in case we have an option in-house that we can take care of ourselves with homeopathy, why not just explore it as an option before going ahead with invasive tests and things like that. We should always know what are our options. Only then we'll be able to decide, and only then we'll be able to choose what's best with us. So I'll quickly hand it over to Dr. Kajal, who will be talking to you about infertility and how you can take care of everything with homeopathy. And definitely she'll have much more insights into this because she's already taking care of a lot of people with infertility and also for other ailments as well. So handing it over to you, Dr. Kajal.
Thank you so much, Parul, for a kind introduction. Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Kajal, and as we know, the topic for today is infertility and homeopathy. Just a minute, Parul, is the recording on?
Yes, the recording is on. For those who have not been able to attend, who are not attending right now, they will get the recording as well, not at all a problem. And I'm making you a co-host as well so that you can, have control over this.
Okay, sure. Thank you. Okay, so guys, talking about infertility and homeopathy, what I have planned for the day is I want to first talk about what is infertility, because I have seen a lot of my patients, who just walk in and they say that they are infertile, whereas actually they are not. So having a correct knowledge of the subject, that what exactly is infertility, is extremely important. So let's start with the term of infertility. So when do we label someone with infertility? Now, in medical terms, if we talk about the definition of infertility, it says that it is defined as a or more years of regular and unprotected sex. So it is not 6 months and it is not 8 months. And the last three words are extremely important, that obviously the sexual activity has to be unprotected and also it has to be regular. So the frequency of the sexual activity is also extremely important for you to conceive. Now, what are the types of infertility? There are two broad categories of infertility. The first is primary infertility. Primary infertility means these are those women who have never conceived before. This is the first time that they are trying to conceive and they are not able to conceive. So we call them that they are diagnosed with primary infertility. Now, other is secondary infertility. This indicates that they have had previous pregnancy, but later on they cannot conceive. Okay, so previously the pregnancy was normal, they were able to conceive, they have delivered a child, but subsequently they are not able to do it. Now, the reason to classify people into primary or secondary infertility is that there will be different causes for both of them, and the treatment will also be different. So, first, when we label the patient as infertility or an infertile couple, we always talk infertility in terms of the couple as a whole and not just the male part or the female partner. Okay, we talk about the couple together. So the reason to classify is that because the treatment and the management differs in both of the categories. Okay. Now, what is the incidence of infertility, or how common is infertility? Why are we talking today about this topic only and not something else? The reason being that if you take 6 couples, out of that, every one couple suffers from infertility in India. So this is something very common. The numbers are exceedingly increasing each day in India. That is the reason why it has become a hot topic. Now for infertility, as I told you, we investigate always the couple together, and any abnormality in either of them is then treated accordingly. Now if we talk about causes of infertility, so causes of infertility are divided into various categories. It can be some problem with the male partner, which is in 30% of cases. There can be some problem with the female partner in 30% of cases, or there might be issues in both of them, which happens in nearly 10% of cases. Yet, according even after the advancement of medical science, there are still 25% of cases where the cause is unexplained, where we don't know, we don't have an answer that why the couple is suffering from infertility. All your lab tests, all your reports will be normal, yet there is failure to conceive and we don't know the cause. So that falls in this category of unexplained, and 25%, and 5% are the others. But let me tell you guys that even in this unexplained 25% cases, homeopathy has an immense scope. Now, if we talk about causes of infertility, firstly I'll start with the male partner and then subsequently go to the female one. Now, if we talk about the reproductive part of the male, so we have to see if there is any problem in the structure of the part or of the function of the part. These are the two things that we see. What do I mean by the structure of the part? The place, the site at which the semen is produced, that is important. The site from where the semen is transported all the way and carried to the penis for ejaculation is important. If anywhere, if there is an obstruction, if there is an injury, or if any of these parts are not functioning well, then that can cause infertility. So this is with regard to structure. If we talk about the function, in function, I mean in terms of erectile dysfunction, where structurally everything is good, everything is normal, there is no abnormality, but there is erectile dysfunction. The reason for a person to have erectile dysfunction can be numerous, and maximum it is because of having anxiety or having stress. Another common reason for infertility in male is having any problem with their semen. Now, semen contains sperm, which is essential for the baby, right? For the formation of baby. Now, if there is any problem with the semen, problem as in what? So either the volume of semen, so the quantity, because that contains the number of sperm, and with respect to mobility. Mobility means the movement of sperm. Now, when the sperm enters the female reproductive system, okay, so it has to travel a long way to meet the egg in order to unite with the egg. So it has to have that capability of, moving in that direction and going and reaching up till the egg in order to fertilize the egg. Okay, so that is also important. If there is any defect there, so that can also cause infertility. Now, if I talk about the management of male infertility, so I will say that there is effective treatment for any infection. Usually, males also suffer from infertility because of infections such as mumps, measles, etc. So there is a good and effective treatment which gives good results, and infertility can be solved. Also, there are certain antioxidants which help to improve the sperm count, its morphology, and motility. I hope I'm not going very fast. Now, if we talk about the causes of infertility for the female, now in female partner, I have classified the causes of infertility into two broad categories. One is the local cause, that is, there's some problem locally at the reproductive part, which is affecting the infertility, which is causing infertility. And the other is constitutional. Constitutional means anywhere, any problem all over the body, which is affecting her fertility. So let us see what are these local causes about infertility. So these includes, now this image is about the reproductive system of the female. So if there are any problems here with the uterus, such as displacement of uterus, displacement means the uterus is not in its correct anatomical position, it is elsewhere. Okay, so it might be a retroverted uterus, matlab uterus ulta hai wahan pe, ya uterus is not at its correct location. Okay, so that can be a cause of infertility. Or if it is an abnormally enlarged uterus, that can cause infertility. Or if there is a shrinkage of the uterus in certain conditions, it happens. So that can cause infertility because there will be no room for the baby to grow, and that will cause infertility. Okay, now there are certain diseases of the female reproductive system which gives rise to infertility. The common diseases are endometriosis, PCOD, which is also extremely common these days. There is leukorrhea. Leukorrhea is white discharge. Now, when we talk about white discharge, a certain amount of white discharge is common in females, but it becomes a problem only if it is causing you some troubles, like if it is itching or if it is corroding your private parts, or if it is more acidic or more acrid. Because if it is more acrid, then the sperm which is entering the genital tract, those will be killed because of the acidic content of it. Okay, so then treating white discharge becomes extremely important because that acts as an obstacle for the sperm to unite with the egg. Another thing is about fibroids. Okay, fibroids are present usually in the uterus. So when they are present, there is no room for the baby to grow. So conception does not take place. And also, if there are any polyps or pelvic infections, okay, anywhere infection in the female reproductive tract, so that can also cause infertility. Now, all these are the local causes which can be very effectively managed medically. Now, what are the constitutional causes of female infertility? Now, these include those in which the entire body is involved. Okay. So, what are the examples that I want to give of this? Is like if there's long continued mental exertion. This mental exertion can be for domestic reasons or for professional reasons. Like domestically, if there is immense conflict between the husband and wife, or the wife or the daughter in law with her in laws, so that can cause infertility. Or if professionally she's pressurized too much by her boss, there are a lot of deadlines and all those kind of things, so that will invariably affect your fertility. Okay, another thing that can affect is obesity. Your BMI, if it is more than 35, conception becomes difficult. If you have any thyroid disorders, if you have hyperthyroidism, hypothyroidism, if you have myxedema, so all these conditions will also reduce your fertility. Also diabetes mellitus and decreased ovarian reserve. Now, what is this ovarian reserve that I'm talking about? Now, every female, when a female is born, right at that time, the number of eggs are there in the body, wo utne hi rehte hain. Like it is not that after that it will grow. So there is some X amount of eggs in your body, and every month when you start your periods, which is around 12 to 14 years of age, from that time right up to the menopause, the eggs are being released. But the number of eggs is fixed, and that is when the time you are born. No change can be made in the number of eggs. Yet I have had patients who have got this low ovarian reserve, मतलब कि उनका egg count, जो egg reserve होता है वो कम है. Yet with homeopathy we have been able to help them to conceive naturally, and they have delivered normal children. Okay. Now, what is safe period and what is unsafe period? Now, to talk about this, firstly, I would have to say that in this, your cycles, your periods have to be regular. Okay, now once your periods are regular, let us say that you have a cycle of 28 days, okay, which happens in majority of cases. So these are the days of bleeding. Okay, around 1 to 5 days is the average days that a woman bleeds. Now, if you have to conceive, I have known a lot of people who are not into a sexual practice at the right time, and that is the reason that they are not able to conceive. So, just being not able to conceive doesn't make you infertile. You have to look out where you're going wrong. Maybe the time at which you're performing the sexual activity is wrong, or the frequency at which you perform the activity is wrong. So, knowing when to perform the sexual activity during your periods is extremely important. Now, if we talk about the fertile period, this fertile period is called as unsafe day. Unsafe period means what? That during these periods, if you have sexual activity, you have higher chances of conceiving. These dates are usually 11th date up till the 18th day of your menstrual cycle. Okay, so if your cycle has begun, suppose on 1st October, okay, so from 11th October up till 18th of October, this 1 week, you have to try your maximum for sexual activity in order to conceive naturally. Okay, if you conceive anywhere outside, that is between these dates or anywhere in these dates, you will not conceive. The reason simply being that the egg is released at this time. That is during, this is called as ovulation. Ovulation is basically a time period when the egg is released from the ovary. Okay, and ovulation is approximately mid-cycle. And if you have a 28-day cycle, so your ovulation period will be from 11th to 18th day of the cycle. Now, as I told you, in order to conceive, the sexual activity must be done at the right time. At the right time, I mean during the fertile period of your menstruation, of your periods. Okay, and the frequency. Okay, the frequency has to be 4 to 5 times a week. Now, you should also, before labeling yourself as infertile, you should also look out where are you going wrong. For example, the commonest mistakes that I have seen in my patients were the lubricant that they were using was wrong. Now, the lubricant that you use, which a lot of people use maybe because of dryness of the part of the vagina that the people use it, but that lubricant must be sperm friendly. Okay, many of the lubricants that are present in the market, they are spermicidal. Spermicidal means what? That this lubricant, when used, it will kill the germs. Okay, so we don't want that, right? We want to conceive. We want the sperm to go ahead in the female reproductive track, and it should meet the egg in order to conceive. So we don't want it to die anywhere midway because of lubricant. So your lubricant has to be sperm friendly because the pH of the lubricant must match with your cervical mucus. Okay, it should be a friendly environment for the sperm to move ahead in the reproductive tract. One example of such a sperm friendly lubricant is this Baby Dance fertility lubricant. Okay. Another thing where I have seen people going wrong is the long term use of oral contraceptive pills. Now, there are two main reasons for using oral contraceptive pills. One is definitely for contraceptive reason, as the name suggests, and other is to regulate your periods. Now, women who have been taking these pills to regulate their periods over a long period of time, they will have a lot of side effects of these medicines. In future, right now in my other slides, I have discussed about the various side effects of OC pills. Okay, now if you have taken OC pills for a long time, we in homeopathy will first have to nullify the side effects of those pills, because unless you are over, or once you are done with the toxicity of those pills, you won't be able to conceive, right? So what are the side effects of OC pills? I have classified the side effects into two categories. One, I have said them as minor complication, which means that they can be easily treated and they are not really life threatening. And other, I have compiled it as major complication. Now, minor complications means what? The women suffers from nausea, vomiting, there's low appetite, there is leg cramps, there'll be white discharge which is increased, there will be heaviness and tenderness in the breast, there will be weight gain, there will be acne, there will be breakthrough bleeding. Breakthrough bleeding means bleeding anytime in between the two periods. Usually you don't bleed in between your two periods, right? But if you have taken oral contraceptive pills, one of the side effects is that you will have bleeding in between the periods. Another thing that you can suffer from is libido. Your libido will reduce. Now, what is libido? Libido is your desire to have sexual activity. Okay, that is also affected by these oral contraceptives. The next thing that I want to talk about is the major complications of oral contraceptives. Now, these major complications are systemic diseases. Means what? That they involve entire of your body, and they need a longer time to control or to get over these complications. So these are like hypertension, depression, vascular complications such as thrombosis. It can even lead to cholestatic jaundice and cancer. Now, investigation. Now, if we have to find out what is wrong, in whom is it wrong, so we always investigate the couple together and not individually separately. We do this in order, firstly, to save time and also to find out that where do we need to, take action. So, talking about the couple, I have first discussed about the male and subsequently about the female. Now, for male, what do we investigate? We'll do the general examination of blood sugar, okay, urine examination, and semen analysis. Now, about semen analysis, I want to stress that it has to be done from a very, experienced and authorized and a reputable lab. You know why? Because firstly, the instructions about semen analysis have to be given very clearly by your treating doctor. Otherwise, the results or the count will be absolutely wrong and they will give you false conclusions. So, semen analysis का जो sample होता है, that has to be collected at the right time. Now, what do I mean by right time? What is the right time? Now, before giving your sample for semen analysis, you have to be in abstinence for a week. What do I mean by abstinence? That you should not indulge in sexual activity for at least a week when you're about to examine yourself for your semen. And even when you give your sample, the examination must be done within 2 hours. So where you are giving your sample for semen analysis, you have to talk to them that is it the same place where the test will be done, or this is just a collection center and it will be further sent elsewhere. How much time will it take? What time will it reach there? All these things, small things, are extremely important, because if it is beyond 2 hours, all your counts will be wrong and all your conclusions will be wrong. Okay, now in this semen analysis, once the report is out, what do we look for? We look for the sperm count. Sperm count means it is the number. How many sperms were present in the semen. So if there is a sample volume of say 2 to 4 ml of semen, so we check out how much is the sperm count in that. Okay, normally there are millions of sperm present, but if it is abnormally low, then it is treated accordingly. Then next we see about motility. Motility means it is the movement of the sperm. Now see, sperm has to travel a way long distance in the male reproductive system as well as in the female reproductive system. And there is a definitive speed at which, it has to move about and reach certain places because of the hormones. So if that is hampered, or if that goes slow, even that will not cause conception. Okay. Next thing that we look about is for morphology. Now, morphology means what? It means the structure of the sperm. Structure of the sperm means जो भी normal एक shape है sperm का, अगर वो shape के बदले कोई और shape है, okay, if there is a derangement in the shape, then also there is problem to conceive. Okay, and viability. Viability means how long can a sperm remain alive. Okay, that also should be within the normal limits. Now see, here I have shown a picture of low sperm count. This can cause infertility. Okay, abnormal structure of the sperm. See, like this. This is the normal shape of the sperm. There's a peculiar reason why is this shape given, because it has to go anti-gravity. Okay, it has to move ahead. It has to go upwards in the female reproductive system, and then it meets the egg. So if its shape is altered, it cannot perform that function. It cannot, go upwards against the gravity and go all the way to reach the egg. Okay, so that's why there is infertility. Another is sperm motility. That's the same thing that I just explained, that instead of going in a straight direction against the gravity, it goes elsewhere. It might go right, left, or it might go down. Now, if there are any positive findings in the semen analysis, so accordingly the treatment is done. Now, if we talk about homeopathy in terms of male infertility, so homeopathy has got a great scope to deal with these cases, because we do have a lot of medicines which help to increase the sperm count or to increase the motility of the sperm and so on. And this is best that it can be achieved without any side effects. It does not affect the other hormones of the body, and there's no need for any admission or anything. Okay. Now, if I talk about the investigation for the female, how do I begin the investigation of the female partner? So we go from large to small. Large to small means what? We go from general to particular. Now, in general, how is the female? Is she obese? Is her BMI more than 35? Is she a sluggish woman? So all those things are important. Does she have a lot of acne? Does she have hair growth here and at other parts? Is she suffering from PCOD? Then we go to systemic examination. Systemic examination means, is there any system of her body in particular which is affected and that is causing her infertility indirectly? Okay, so there are certain diseases such as high blood pressure, there are certain heart diseases, there are some kidney problems, there is hyperthyroidism, myxedema. These are also indirectly responsible for infertility. So unless these are tackled, the infertility will not improve. Okay. Next thing that we look out for is gynecological examination. That is in the locally in the reproductive part. We check out if the female has got any infections there, if she has any tenderness, any abnormal mass present there, or if there's any abnormal discharge. Another thing that we look out is about the diagnosis of ovulation. Now, what is ovulation? Ovulation is a time when the egg is released from the ovary. It is approximately your mid cycle. Like as I told you, if your cycles are regular, if it is a normal 28-day cycle, so the ovulation time will be anywhere between 11 days to 18 days. Now, how do we diagnose this ovulation time period? Because this differs from women to women. Okay, so history taking. History taking means what? In homeopathy, whenever any patient comes to us, we take a detailed account of them with respect to their troubles. With respect to their periods, also, we get all the details like is it regular, what time does it come, and all those things. So, with history taking, also, we can have a fair idea about the ovulation time and we can guide you that okay, between so and so dates, you must try indulging into sexual activity in order to conceive. And the other way is by ovulation test kits. Now, these ovulation test kits are extremely easy and useful kits which are available easily in any of the medical shops. Okay, they are also known as LH test kits. LH is a luteinizing hormone which is present in the females. The level of this hormone increases during the time of ovulation. That is, jab egg release hota hai, that is the time when this hormone is at a higher level. Okay, so this is a simple dipstick test, just like there is a pregnancy test, जो हम urine pregnancy test घर पे करते हैं. This is very similar to that. In a very similar manner, you take a urine sample and just put a few drops of it on the strip. If the color changes, that means the level of hormone is high and you are around your ovulation time and you must try for sexual activity. Okay. Now, you should also look out for the other factors that are affecting the fertility of the couple together. Now, obesity is definitely, I can say it's almost a pandemic these days because of our lifestyle, because of our eating habits, and because all of us, I think, have a very sedentary lifestyle. We hardly move about. We are all sitting and working for 8 hours, 9 hours a day, and whatnot. So, obesity is one of the major factors. Another thing is smoking. Another is alcohol consumption, mental exertion. If there is mental exertion to an extent that the couple is not able to bear, this exertion can be at home related to some conflicts at home, some regular fights at home which they are not able to resolve, and it is just accumulating in the person. That can also affect fertility. Or if the mental exertion is on professional grounds, when example, if a person is into marketing, there's a lot of deadlines, there's a lot of pressure on the work, so that can also affect your fertility. Another thing is irregular sleep pattern. Again, in order to meet the targets of your company or whatever profession you're working into, and we usually don't give importance to our sleep, so even this contributes immensely to infertility. Okay. Now I come to homeopathic approach about how we homeopaths deal with these kind of cases. So for us, it is extremely important to not just treat you locally for your uterus or in males in terms of their penis or for the semen. We treat the patient as a whole. Now, what do I mean by patient as a whole is we look into all your aspects of life with respect to your mind, body, and soul. Means mentally, if there's some issue, if you're anxious about some other thing, but that is indirectly causing you infertility, that is causing you difficulty to conceive. So we can solve that with counseling and with our homeopathic medicines. Now, how homeopathy helps? Homeopathy works at three different levels at psych, body, and on general health. Now, talking about psych, as I told you, if there is issues about anxiety, stress, if there's pressure, if there are mood swings in the women, okay. So mood swings is also a major factor I've seen in my patients, which has, caused them difficulty to conceive. So if they are taking some heavy medications of allopathy or any psychiatric medicines for, anxiety, mood swings, I have seen that it does not help them. It rather causes them more side effects and rather complicates and messes up the case. Whereas with homeopathy, very subtly we can manage these cases and they conceive naturally. Now, in terms of body, if there are any associated complaints along with the problem of infertility, such as a lot of women come up with problems like, pain while having sex, or there is dryness of the vagina there are some infections, some local infections because of which they are not able to mate properly, or the most important and the most common one is having irregular cycles. Irregular cycles can be very easily managed with homeopathy. In homeopathy, we do not give you any medication like the oral contraceptive, which will disturb the natural hormonal cycle of your body. We rather help your body to assist itself, to help itself to heal and get regular. Therefore, the difference is when you stop homeopathic treatment, when the homeopathic course is completed, your cycles will be regular in spite of the medicine, which does not happen in terms of oral contraceptives. If you take oral contraceptives to regulate your periods, the moment you stop taking the pills, you will be back to square one. Your cycles will be again irregular. Whereas in homeopathy, that does not happen because we try to, make to prepare your body in a way that itself, your hormones should be regulated naturally to kickstart itself instead of stimulating every time artificially. And also, we have medicines for conditions like low sperm count. General health, I mean that any associated disorder that the women has, example, thyroid disorders, if there is hypothyroidism, hyperthyroidism, if there is high blood pressure, okay, or if there is diabetes, because all these will also indirectly affect your fertility. So homeopathy has got a very good scope in all these conditions also. Now, in order to give a homeopathic prescription, we talk with a couple together. Okay, a detailed history is taken about their complaint as to what problems they are facing and what not. Besides the details regarding their reproductive problems, even other things are asked in details. For example, whatever diseases they have suffered in the past, or if there is some genetic history in the family regarding infertility. Also, another important thing is what is the mode of contraception that has been used so far or before trying to conceive. The reason to ask this question is one, because in case if we have used oral contraceptives, there will be a lot of side effects. So we first have to wash out those side effects. Another reason is in case of use of any IUCD. IUCD is intrauterine contraceptive devices. The most commonly used in India is copper T. Copper T is inserted in the women's reproductive tract so that she is not able to conceive. So if you have used that previously, that might cause pelvic infections. Okay, it might cause infections in the local reproductive parts, because of which you might not be able to conceive. So that's why when we take the case, when we take the history of the patient, all these details are extremely important. because many a times the patient also invariably forgets that, okay, they have done this, because patient does not realize that that might be the cause of infertility. Okay, and a detailed menstrual history, that is regarding your periods, everything is asked in detail. And then the time of ovulation is suggested to you, that at what time you should have sexual activity. If there is a previous kid, then the previous obstetric history is also taken. Was there any issues during conceiving at that time? Was the child born normally? Was there any issues during pregnancy or even after delivery? And we also ask in terms of any sexual problems such as dyspareunia. Dyspareunia means what? There is immense pain during sex, a female experiencing immense pain during sex. If that happens, the patient will go into spasm. Okay, her muscles will go into contraction, and that can cause infertility. So this is also very easily treated with homeopathy, because this is not a structural problem. Okay, now the reason why she might be experiencing pain can be because of dryness, because of anxiety, and all those things, which can be very effectively managed with homeopathy. And even loss of libido. Libido means what? Libido is the desire to have sexual activity. If that is abnormally low in a person, so then the reason for conceiving, the chances of conceiving also reduces. Homeopathy offers an excellent option to couples who are seeking assistance to get pregnant, or if they want it as a support, whether physically or emotionally, for the fertility treatments such as IVF or IUI. Now, in which ways can homeopathy help you? So, homeopathy can help you to deal with the stressful issues which are surrounding to get you pregnant, or the side effects of the fertility treatment. Now, if there has been immense family pressure in order to conceive, so that creates a lot of anxiety. Okay, it creates performance anxiety in the couple together. So counseling at that time, giving a right homeopathic medicine can help them to conceive naturally. And the side effects of fertility treatment, if you have taken any allopathic previous medication, and if that has caused any side effects, so homeopathy will help you to wash out with those side effects and give a new start to the case and help you to conceive. Homeopathy will also help you to release and unblock your emotional problems, the traumas, or the unresolved thought patterns that might be affecting your fertility. Now, in homeopathy, we strongly believe that mind has got a strong connection with your body. If you are suffering from, any emotional blocks, any emotional problems, that will definitely affect your fertility. And unless that, if you have not overcome that block, or if you have not resolved that emotion, conceiving gets very difficult. So homeopathy helps you to overcome that. Homeopathy will also stimulate the body naturally to regulate and to balance your hormones. That is having natural cycles instead of inducing it artificially like oral contraceptives. And homeopathy can also help to increase the sperm count and motility. Okay, it also helps with conditions which affect locally the female reproductive tract, such as PCOS, endometriosis, having ovarian cyst, fibroid polyps, or infections. Now, homeopathic treatment plan for infertility is extremely unique and individualistic approach. So if we have 10 patients, 10 couples who walk into our clinic for infertility, but the treatment for each of them will be different, because the reason why they are not able to conceive will be different. So in our first step of history taking, which ranges anywhere between 1 hour to 2 hours, or even maybe more than that in few cases, that is the time when we try to elicit that what is the cause, what is going wrong, why is this couple not able to conceive. So this approach is extremely unique for every couple. It changes from couple to couple, and it is not a straight away a monotonous thing or a questionnaire. It would be just randomly given to you, and you just tick it out. So it's not that kind of thing. Now, whether it is to restore a healthy reproductive system or to help with a specific condition, maybe locally or in general, or to deal with the emotional challenges, the homeopathic medicines that are provided to you That, along with your healthy diet and good lifestyle choices, can help to bring about positive results and help you to conceive naturally. What are the advantages of homeopathy? Why you should opt for homeopathy? Because homeopathy helps you to conceive in the most natural way. It has no known side effects. There is no toxicity produced. Our homeopathic medicines do not produce any dependence. Okay, once your body is set right into the motion, even for your future pregnancies, you will conceive naturally and you will not have to run elsewhere for treatment again. Okay, and homeopathy will not disturb your natural menstrual cycle, and it will not have any adverse effects on the hormones of your body. It is easy to consume, safe to consume. It is extremely cost effective if you compare it with any other assisted reproductive techniques like IVF, IUI, etc. And there is no need to get admitted. Right at your home, at your ease, you can just pop in the pills and conceive naturally. So that's all from my part. I will hand over to Parul.
Thank you so much, doctor. Thank you so much for sharing so much of insight. And I'm amazed at what all you have shared today, because the basics, where we go wrong is we don't understand our own anatomy and we don't understand our own issues most of the times. And we somehow end up not even sure whether we are struggling with infertility or whether we are already equipped with the right things. But there's just one little information which can actually change everything for us. So I'm sure the participants would have gotten a lot of insights into how this works and how they can help. So now I would like to open the forum for questions and answers. So if in case you guys are suffering from any specific issue regarding pregnancy, fertility, you would like to ask the doctor, you can type into the chat box whatever question you have, and the doctor will be more than happy to answer your questions, guys. So come on, type your questions and we will be able to answer them. And doctor, what you said about lifestyle and health and nutrition and diet, that is what I as a pregnancy wellness coach do, is I majorly tell them what lifestyle changes and how to make sure that their sexual life, their health, their thyroid, their other issues, whatever they are facing, everything actually aligns with how we live and what we eat. It's majorly about that. And if in case all these things come into picture and homeopathy and Ayush helps, certainly things can improve and at least we can speed up the process. So Ramya here has PCOD and she's trying for pregnancy. So anything that you would like to share with Ramya for PCOD, doctor?
Hi, Ramya. So, as I've told that PCOD is extremely common and a leading cause for difficulty to conceive, I will need some of your details from you, like for how long have you been trying to conceive? What are the mode of contraceptives that you have been using, and where exactly is the problem that you are facing? What is the obstacle that you're facing? Ramya, if you can share that with me, I think I'll be in a better position to help you out.
I think for that, doctor, what we'll do is I'll simply share your Instagram handle and also your website details. They can DM you directly over there, and then they can discuss with you, personal stuff, because, this platform would not be conducive for that. Sada says that she conceived after 9 years of marriage and after multiple IUIs and failed IVF. It was IUI max conception, but in 5th month, I lost my baby. I'm so sorry to hear that, Sada, because blood flow was not coming properly to baby. So there must be some placental problem. Since 2 years now, I'm not able to conceive again, and my age is 40. I have unexplained infertility from age 29, 11 years of marriage. I've tried everything. Now only homeopathy is left. Can you help me? I think, doctor, you'll be more than happy to suggest her as well. And Sada, one thing that I would like to tell you before I will hand your case over to doctor is that I had a patient of mine who was struggling with the same issue, and she had 3 miscarriages, and at 40 she was able to give birth to a beautiful daughter. So why I'm sharing this is not because I'm asking you to come to me or discuss things with me. Why I'm sharing this with you is because the hope is not lost. The thing is that people are able to conceive at the age of 40. They are able to have a beautiful baby after 3 miscarriages and after a blocked tube, homeopathy treatment, and other things included. She tried everything and yet she was able to do that. So, what I would like to give you as a suggestion, or you can say a positive vibe in this moment, is that I wish you all the best and luck. And I am sending this positive energy out to you that it will work out for you. And if I say it will work out for you, it might work out for you. That's my best wish for you. Handing over to the doctor to take care of your case.
Hi, Sada. So I have read you have given a quite brief description about your problem. So I think I will still need a lot of details. Maybe we can do it one-to-one. Okay, this is not the right platform where we can discuss certain personal questions. So I would request you to contact me personally, and maybe then I can, give you more details about it.
Yeah, she also said a low egg reserve, and after her miscarriage, her FSH hormone got high. Periods are regular, but flow is less only for 2 days. I think, doctor, you'll be able to help her. That shouldn't be a problem. And I will share the details with everybody on right now on chat as well, and also on the WhatsApp as well, and in the email as well. So, guys, every mode is open. I'll email you, I'll WhatsApp you the details. I'll also share it here as well, so that you can get in touch directly with the doctor and you can get your problems resolved. So now, Gurunkaval,
Parul, just a minute. Parul, just a minute. Sorry to interrupt you. Regarding Sada, I want to say one more thing, that she has also written that she has got a low egg reserve. Now, medically speaking, I told you that we cannot increase your egg reserve. Okay, it is determined right at the time you were born, and it is fixed. Okay, there is no medicine on this earth, homeopathy, allopathy, Unani, Siddha, anything that can increase the count. But with homeopathy, okay, I have had patients who, in spite of having low reserve, have conceived naturally. Okay, so don't lose hope, Sada. There is definitely a way out there. Okay, thank
exactly,
you.
that's what I was trying to say. There is a way out, and you'll be able to be there, and we will try our best to help you out. So another question is that how can I work for face acne? Got to know that have cyst and gynae have suggested contraceptives. Want to conceive naturally from homeopathy. Kindly guide.
Okay. So, with respect to having cyst and using contraceptives, now I have already in the presentation discussed about the side effects of contraceptives, right? So, I have broadly classified them into minor and major complications. And being about contraceptives, I would say if you, I'm not saying this because I'm a homeopathic doctor and I want to, you to approach me only, but if I talk in terms of layman, just for your good health and for you to conceive naturally, I would suggest that you should not go for contraceptives and rather go for homeopathy, because in long term, if you see, homeopathy will not give you any side effects. And also, homeopathy will cover all your problems, your acne, your cyst. So there is no need to, pop in 10 different medicines for your different conditions. You can have just one medicine which will help you overall with everything, right? For your skin, for your cyst, and also for you to conceive naturally.
Exactly. Thank you so much, doctor. We have another question from Ramya, which says that can we have apple cider vinegar for weight loss when we take homeopathy medicine?
Yes, Ramya, you can. It will not interfere with our medicine.
Exactly. And I think if you have it with warm water in the morning itself, after a couple of hours, when you've gotten up, better if you take it empty stomach. Either you can take apple cider vinegar or you can take lemon with honey. That also has similar effects. But apple cider vinegar would be better if you have it with warm water and in the morning itself. That will work better for you. So any other questions, guys? Any more questions if you have, please come on. I would like to answer as many questions as possible. We just have a couple of minutes left. So if any other questions. Yeah, I will send you the details in email and also on WhatsApp as well, that how you can get in touch with doctor directly, and you will receive an email for that. So if you want, you guys can drop in your emails here so that I can make a note of them and send you the details. Please drop in your email addresses in the chat box, please.
Anyone, any more questions? If there is any more doubt still in your mind regarding what is infertility, then you can ask.
Yeah, Ramya, I have your email. Gurkamal, if you can help me with your email address. I think I don't have your email address. Or is it somebody else by the name Gurkamal? I'm not sure. The rest of you, I already have your email addresses. I'll forward the details. Sada, I have your details, no problem. You'll receive an email from me within an hour or so with details how to connect doctor directly. And the doctor also takes care of online consultations. So you don't need to worry about visiting the doctor in person. She'll be more than happy to guide you over the video medium as well. All right. Okay, it's Sharan. All right, Sharan. Sharan, I'll share the details with you. The name was coming as Gurkamal, so I was not sure who the person is. So no worries, Sharan. I'll share all the details. Don't worry about it. All right, guys. So concluding on this note, okay, there's one more question. Is there any diet to follow with homeopathy medicine? So, doctor, would you like to take this up? Any diet that you need to follow with homeopathy medicine?
Talking about diet and homeopathy, there are certain medicines in homeopathy for which there's restriction for something which is strong smelling, such as having garlic, having onion, etc. But there's no generalized rule as such. It all depends on the medicine that will be given to you. So if the medicine that I give you, if that hampers, if having garlic hampers your action of medicine, then I will suggest you to not have those kind of things. But there is no generalized rule in homeopathy.
Okay. All right. So guys, one more thing before we end this conversation, I would like to let you know one more thing that from November 10th, I am holding a workshop for everyone. So questions about your diet, about your lifestyle, and about your exercise to manage your PCOS, PCOD, thyroidism, and how to make sure that your infertility is cured. All these questions, and also making sure your emotional blocks are cleared, as well as getting a sound healing and getting your aura and chakra clean. So we will be working on everything in a 6-day workshop that I'll be holding from November 10th. I will share all the details with you all on the email. So this workshop will be for everybody. I'll send you the details, you can decide and you can join that as well. So if you want to have a comprehensive diet analysis, how to take care of things, because you know what, diet, we talk about diet like one thing, but diet would change for everybody because everybody is suffering from something or the other and every problem is different. So what I'll do is I'll break it down for people to understand better that what situation would need what kind of diet and everything. So that workshop will be done from November 10th. I would like to invite you all and I'll send you details over. So on this note, I would like to say bye-bye, take care of yourselves, have a good night's sleep. That's more than enough to take care of yourselves. Sleep on one time and make sure you get up on one time. And if you do this, a very simple lifestyle change, sleeping on time and getting up on time, it will regulate your hormones better. Okay, so that's the tip from me. Take care of yourself. Thank you so much, doctor, for joining us today and sharing these details. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.